from someone who suffered from anxiety and still has small bouts of it here and there. I think keeping myself busy and keeping my mind busy makes me a better person. What I do, and I think it's a bit of a reset, is I
do the same thing.
It's cool, right?
Our serial entrepreneur, Madame Tussauds inductee and brand ambassador,
radio presenter, best known for hosting the Kris Fade show on Virgin Radio Dubai. Transitioning from radio to entrepreneurship, Kris founded the health-focused brand Fade Fit.
the self-titled host for the biggest radio show in the Middle East, the Kris Fade show is the show that the celebrities come to.
I also want to shout out my good buddy Kris.
Is there a morning you go, not today?
Radio is a really competitive industry. They teach you in radio never to take a day off. I want to be the best in the room. I want to be at that elite level, be it hosting on a stage, be it creating a snack company like Fade Fit. It's very competitive. People are always going to come at you.
5 o'clock in the morning, we're here. We spend more time here with them than with our family. You never know when someone's driving in their car, what they're going through. I want to put them in a better mood. We want to push that positivity. We want to get a smile on their face. That's the reason why that alarm goes off at 4:20 every single morning. And from that structure back then, we made ourselves to be the #1 station in the country.
When you've had to grind and work for it, men and women that have built companies or done well in their profession, when they've come from nothing, being there, they appreciate it a lot more.
You hardly get any sleep whatsoever. What's your driving force?
What drives me? I think the driving force for me is that.
Gladiators, welcome back. Today I have my favorite guy that I'm interviewing, and without further ado, Kris Fade is here. My favorite guy in the entertainment industry, but I got to know him a little bit better over the last 6 months, and I can honestly say he's the hardest working guy I know in entertainment and show business. And listen, thank you for finding the time to be here today. I really appreciate it.
You only know one person in the business, and that's me. So that's why I'm the hardest.
Since I got to know you, you've introduced me to other lazy guys, and girls, and I realized how hard you work. But the thing is, Kris, right? Let's get straight to the point, because a lot of people know you. Okay,
sure.
We're going to jump back and forth, and hopefully somewhere along the way we linked a lot. So what's your driving force? Because you hardly get any sleep whatsoever. I'm in bed, and I get this thing, and you just landed from a presentation of some developer, and you're getting home at midnight. And then I get up in the morning, you got up 4 hours before me, you've been in the gym, you've done this, and you're motivating the nation on the radio. So and you've been doing this for how long? 16 years.
Yeah, 17 years here in this country. I think 17 years pushing those hours, right? What drives me? It's got to be my family. I think when you become a father and you have that responsibility of making sure that your people that you've brought into this world, you've got that responsibility of making sure that they need to be looked after. And I think the driving force for me is that I had the drive before I had the children. But I think right now that is my passion. And it's funny because whenever I'm out to go do anything, I'll tell the girls and my son, Dad's going to work for you guys. I'm going to work for you. I'm doing this for you.
Yeah.
I'm buying this for you. This car's going to be yours one day.
But with a smile on your face.
Yeah, I enjoy what I get to do, man. I'm blessed to be able to do what I do, So the driving force, but, also I'm a competitor. I compete. I want to be the best in the room. I do want to be the hardest worker in the room. I want to be at that elite level, and there's always people chomping at what you're doing. There's always people wanting to do what you do or think they can do what you do. And I want to be consistent enough to...
I noticed something about you. Although you're very busy, you were very aware of your surroundings, right? Because I did some speaking and I do some speaking, and I realized how competitive that is, and it drained me. So for you to keep going forward and setting the bar higher and higher at the same time, being aware of competitors.
Oh,
it's not and along the way you're running your business. We're going to talk about Fade Fit and what you do outside.
Well, it's funny from a radio point of view. Obviously my prime and my reason why I moved to this city was for Virgin Radio Dubai, and radio is a really competitive industry. They teach you in radio never to take a day off. Because if you take one day off, that replacement can come in and there could be one sitting boss up there going, I actually like this person. And then the next week it's cutthroat. Radio's cutthroat. You could be working for a radio station for 4 or 5 years. They could terminate you on the spot without giving you any notice. Yes. I even know a story of an ex-colleague of mine from another radio station in Australia. He worked for a radio station for 7 years. He was leaving the car park after doing a show, and the CEO of the company was there at the car park to take his car park pass off him. That's how he got terminated and said, hey, today was your last shift. So it's really competitive. So coming from an industry that I work in radio, it's a very competitive industry.
Yes.
There's always people wanting to do your job.
Yes.
So I think I just take that into the entire aspect of my life, be it hosting on a stage, be it creating a snack company like Fade Fit. It's very competitive. People are always going to come at you.
Where did you get the time to keep setting the bar higher and higher? Because you're so busy. That's what I don't understand. So I need me time.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
But I look at you, when you got me time, you're with your son in the pool. When you got
Yeah.
me time, you're in the gym. You got
Yeah.
me time, you're with the girls. You're
Yeah.
always doing your weekends, you're running on the beach with your fans. Where do you get me time, or is it when you're driving? You're thinking?
It's funny. I'm systematic, so I love to be very not monotonous, but I like to be structured, and I think I work better as a structured person. I also work better being busy. I think from someone who suffered from anxiety and still has small bouts of it here and there, I think keeping myself busy and keeping my mind busy makes me a better person. It's not running away from issues. I have no issues. But I know when I'm occupied and I'm keeping myself busy, be it swimming with my son in the pool. Now, I do get me time. My me time is usually me at home in front of the NBA watching my favorite basketball team. And I do make sure that I get those moments. I also get my moments. I do something before I fall asleep at night. And it's kind of like prayer and meditation together. And it's only a short amount of time. I'm not someone that can sit and
Meditates for hours.
I can't. But what I do, and I think it's a bit of a reset, is I just shut my eyes and I give thanks to everything that I achieved today and giving me the opportunity. And then I say, give thanks to everyone around me and I give them blessings. And I run through them in my head. I give everyone a little bit of a name, right? And I feel like that moment of real calmness before I sleep is a reset for my soul and a reset for my mind.
I do the same thing.
It's cool, right?
And what I do, I feel indebted to God or the universe or the higher power to thank everyone. And there's a saying, I don't know if it's Arabic or Iranian, but it says, I say it in Arabic, and a verse from the Quran. And it says, if I thank you, God, I hope I go to bed in the right side and I hope I wake up in the right side. But while I'm here, if it's my last night, I want to thank this, and I wish the world, and then finally my family.
Yeah.
Every night.
So true. And I think once you realize, and it's crazy, I think, you and I have kind of a similar story where we came from not a lot. We had to really grind to get where we were.
Yes.
When you've had to grind and work for it, you appreciate the good moments better.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that, we would even know that didn't have to work for it. And so they don't understand the feeling of not having what we have today.
Yes, we'll never take it for granted.
You never take it for granted. I
don't take it for granted because I've lost it.
Correct.
Okay. And I've gained it again. You've never lost it. Or have you lost it?
I haven't lost it, but when I moved to this city, it was, I was on not struggle street, but, I wasn't on a lot of income. I still say the story that when I landed here, I didn't realize we had to pay, back then in Dubai in 2007, you paid your rent fully up front. You remember that
1
check?
year up front.
Yeah,
right.
so I moved to the country with, I think it was about, from memory, around 10 to 15,000 dirhams in my bank account.
Crazy.
That's all I had to my name.
Crazy.
And a lot of that money came from mum and dad. I think mum and dad gave me a couple of thousand before I left, right? And
did you have the job and you came to...
Yeah, so I came to help set up Virgin Radio. That was the job.
Okay.
And so when I moved here, and then I remember I went to go get my apartment, and I realized, whoa, the prices were really expensive. And then when I found out I had to pay 97,000 dirhams for a studio apartment.
When you had 50,000 in the bank.
Yeah, I didn't have the money. So I had to take the loan from the company, my own company, where they deducted it from my salary. And I had to do that for the first 2 years, right? And then I couldn't buy a car. I had to rent a car because I just, so those...
What was your first car?
The first one
was a Yaris, Toyota Yaris.
Okay. Mine was I think it was the Nissan Tita.
Right, similar car.
Similar kind of vehicle. Yeah. It was you go to the rental and you just find the cheapest car that you can use.
And mine was AA, car rental, and they took those old Visa cards,
I remember,
yeah. My credit card would have bounced, right? The only way you'll go through was those because they'll
because it takes time.
30 days.
Yeah.
Right? But now they block it off you.
You know what I mean? Like, so we, now life is different for me, and I've obviously made my money and I've got my success from that point. I appreciate those moments, and it's crazy because I sometimes tell my wife, who wasn't with me in the early stages. And I'll be like,
share with her your
I'll
plans.
be like, those houses there's some, I used to live in this really old house, which it just wasn't a good quality home. I look back and I think, wow, to the point where the roof collapsed on my daughter. And that's when I knew I had to move out because it was a really old house. And I said, we used to live
not
there.
that long ago.
Yeah, it was. Like 12 years ago.
Yeah, not that long.
I said, that's where I used to live, babe. And she's like, wow. And I said, I'm glad that you've got me at this moment of my life, but there was the come up as well. And I think once you have the come up, and there's so many people that would be watching or listening to this that are going through that come up, like once you get to that other side, and it's whatever you define success to be, it's not just a monetary thing.
No.
You look back and you become proud of yourself, and you'd have the same feeling as I would, where I've gone, I don't know how I did that.
I swear.
I don't know how I got through
by
those.
really quickly.
Yeah, it's like a blur.
Yes.
It's like a blur.
I wonder, as a man, if I was more of a man then than I am today. Because, sometimes when it's nose to the grindstone and you grafting, going out there.
Resilient.
Yes. Now I'm maybe a bit too relaxed.
But I think that's okay to be.
But you're not.
No. Well,
you work in your...
I'm still working a
backside
lot,
of
but
your-
I am still like...
Different levels of stress.
Okay, so
Maybe.
first of all, whoever says money doesn't buy happiness, I don't believe.
Agree.
It does, right?
It does buy happiness.
It gives
you got to be a happy person inside. It magnifies, right? It gives you choices.
Well,
Right? The more choices you have, the more freedom you feel. But I think a depressed person would just get more depressed.
I remember with my first child that my ex-wife had to have a cesarean, which was going to cost us more money, right?
Yeah.
That was a possibility that the cesarean had to come up. I remember thinking to myself, I can't pay for that because it's not covered by the insurance at the time. And so
it's not something a father needs to be thinking as one of the options, right? Should be worried about the health of the baby and the mother, and
then
you
you
got
start
C, worrying about the money.
You start thinking about those moments. Now, that was 15 years ago with my first child. I had a baby a year and a half ago, my baby Cruz. Having a baby when you've got security, financials, and everything is so much easier. I laid in bed the other night with my wife, and our baby was beside us, and he's sleeping. And I just said to her, I don't even remember doing this with my first kid. And the reason why, I think, was because it was always go. It was, how am I going to make sure everyone's okay? I didn't enjoy just that pure moment. I wasn't relaxed because even maybe I would have been relaxed in the back of my head as a father at the time, and my ex-wife wasn't working. I was the financial contributor to the family. I'm just going, how am I going to make sure that this is all going to be okay? Is she going to be okay? Do I have money for formula? Do I have money for milk? Oh my God. So now that I've had this baby now and I'm financially happy and I'm easy, everything's so beautiful.
Yes.
I'm appreciating all these little moments.
The energy you're giving out to Cruz is amazing because he's constantly smiling,
correct,
constantly happy. You see it.
You
see in his soul. I've only kind of like bumped into him. But I love, by the way, my goal is to hug him this year. Yeah.
You will.
If he allows me, because everybody wants to hug Cruz,
He's
right?
like the most famous little baby.
Isn't he? Why can't he be so cheeks? Jesus.
People are disappointed when I just rock up without him. They're like, where's the baby?
Where's the baby?
I didn't bring him. He's like, oh, we came here to see Cruz.
The challenge is now to control his ego and stay.
We'll see how that goes. Yeah, but becoming the come up, the story of the come up, I believe, is so strong for many individuals. And if you speak to a lot of, quote unquote, successful men and women that have built companies or have done well in their profession, when they've come from nothing and they've been there, they appreciate it a lot more. Yes. And I think it actually you could start to help people come up with you. When you start to see other people, it's funny, I see people now that are in my position when I was first here, and I want to be able to help where I can. I want to try to say, if it's advice or if it's financials or if it's opportunities, I want to be that person to try to bring them up,
because there was nobody there for you.
Not to the point where
you so giving and unconditional.
You
had to reach out and
you got to do it more on your own, So I think for me the drive is, and I've still got the drive now, which is pretty cool. I wake up at 4:20, 4:30 every single morning, and
is there a morning you go, not today?
Yeah.
It still is.
Yeah, a lot. You never get used to waking up at that time, I find. I've never, in my work, for me, 17 years of doing breakfast radio,
So you're out the house by 5?
Just after 5, around 5:10, 5:15, yeah, and then like get to the studio and, we're on air by 6 a.m. sharp, but obviously we prepare before we get on. So, but I love it. Like it's still a joy. If I don't have to do morning radio. Financially, I'm okay now, but I love doing it. And I get good money from it as well, but I love doing it. So that passion of doing radio every single day.
And knowing a million people are listening to you.
It's great,
right?
And I get to do it with my best friend. Like, Pretty Malik, my best friend. And, Ross, you're not my best friend, but my friend.
Yes.
Like you get to do
I can't imagine Ross being anybody's best friend.
Yeah,
but
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
No, but like
he's got some work to do.
These are my friends. These are my friends. I get to do this every single day.
Nice.
So like that's where the drive is as well. But I am someone that as soon as the alarm goes off, and most of the time I wake up just before the alarm, it's just a trigger. It gets me
Straight
up. I'm straight up. I am go.
Wife stays in bed, doesn't get up in the morning. She's like, off you go.
I'm like a ninja when I leave the house. I'm really quiet, and I don't want to wake anyone up.
I was listening to a Michael McIntyre session, and he was talking about when people want to go to the toilet middle of the night, the wife's in bed. You don't have floorboards, but that
you know where to walk.
Yeah, exactly where to walk, but there's no
even
noise.
as men, we know where to aim to make sure there's not a lot of noise. No, but it's funny because we built our new home that we were talking about off this podcast. I strategically built our wardrobe at least 20 feet away from the
noise,
bed.
The lights, everything.
I did everything. So I knew that all I had to do was, as soon as I walk out of the sleeping area,
yes, you're right.
I'm safe.
Yeah, and she's gone.
I don't have to get in trouble for waking her up.
Yeah.
It's crazy because my wife, when she wakes up before me, which is rare, it is like a cyclone. You hear this, you hear that, the blinds are open. I'm like, I'm trying to sleep here. When I'm allowing you, I'm like a ninja.
Exactly.
But the drivers.
Do you have a line like in a Sunday or something?
It's so hard.
Because Saturday mornings you're up on the beach running.
I'm lucky to get 6 hours of sleep a night, so it's like the body's conditioned to 6. So even on the weekends,
you're up.
Yeah, and people like that. The negative of what I do is you don't have too much of a social life, as in, because a lot of my life is about socializing. Come the weekend, if I'm not working, or come those moments where I'm not having to, I do want to be my time, which is either with my family and the kids at home usually, or just watching TV, watching sports.
Yeah.
So
I notice Cruz gets up early, right?
But I love that.
Because I know in the mornings you're with him before you go. Isn't that good?
He's up at usually 5, and it's we've got the monitor that says when the baby's up.
Yeah.
So
and you get excited.
Yeah.
The adrenaline.
Usually when I'm getting out of the shower, I'll see on the monitor baby is crying, and I'm like, yes, he's up.
I get to see
he's
him.
up, and then like we just hang out and. I'm learning and things that I never got to do with my first children. Like he's 1.5 now, and he comes with a book, and he's learned to say the word book. So in the morning now we have a little ritual. He's like, book.
Oh, you have to read him a page or two or something.
Yeah, so he just sits on my lap. It's in the morning, and we're just reading a book together. And I'm like, man, that is the pure joy of life,
isn't it?
Like that, and it makes me happier. Like I go to work happier. I think I'm a happier person.
Yes.
Like he brings me joy.
Yes.
And even in those stressful moments of your day, or you have an argument with someone, or there's something going on, you walk in and you having a kid. I'm 40.
Balances things in your mind. You think, well, what's really important?
And I'm 45 now, and someone asked me like, you had a baby. I had my first kids when I was around 27.
Which is ideal age, young.
Yeah.
But now people see as you're a little bit older.
Yeah, like, did you think you're, is it too old to have a kid at 45? And I'm like, well, you know what? I truly don't think it is. Now, there's 2 reasons for that. I think I'm a better father now, right?
Yes.
I think I'm a better father. I've learnt to be a dad now.
Yes.
The first time you're a father, you don't give an instruction.
I think you beat yourself up too much because you've got gorgeous daughters. I've got great kids from my first marriage, and I was 27 as a
So,
father. My last one was 50.
Ah.
But 49.
But this is something which I think we're both doing, and we were talking about this off the podcast, is remaining healthy. Because you can be an old 60-year-old.
Yes.
But you can also be a young 60-year-old.
Yes.
And my aim is when my kid's 15 years old,
you're still healthy, you can run around.
I can still run around with him if I
What
want.
hurt me most last year, when my son looked at me and he had pain in his eyes and said, Dad, it's time to lose weight, don't you think? And he was like, oh my
dagger.
God, yeah, I need to do something about it. Slowly, but I need to do something about it. And that's true love.
And
But it was hurting him telling me because he loves me.
But I say that to my dad now sometimes. My dad's older, and I'm always like, You're looking after yourself. We've got a treadmill out there. Do you want to get on it, or do you want to do this, or do you want to do that? Like just trying, because at the end of the day, we want to be around each other as long as we possibly can. And with technology and medicine and what we're doing,
there's no reason you can't be over 100 healthy.
I believe that our children, they'll live over 100%. I believe
happily, healthy, financially.
I think
secure.
so. I think we're gonna. We're going to prolong, diseases, and I think we're going to be able to learn more about ourselves. So whilst we have this technology, I want to make sure that when I'm 60 years old and I'm, still 15 years away from this moment.
Don't go there. I'll be nearly 80. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
We'll still be chatting to each other. You'll
so.
still be telling me to invest my money here
Definitely.
and do my money there.
Definitely.
Compound it here.
No, you be saying, Dariush, listening to you 15 years ago was the best thing that ever happened to me. I'd be like, who are you? I can't remember anymore. What did you say?
No, that won't be around. Dementia hopefully won't be around at that time. So, yeah, man, life is where I'm at right now. Life is really, really good, and I'm blessed. I just take every day as a little blessing,
In your life, you meet lots of famous people.
Yeah.
Were you ever scared or frightened or intimidated by them, or has it just come through experience and time, or you were always cool with it?
I think it's not intimidation, but there is definitely a feeling of around when you're around like a real big celebrity.
The Rock, you left your birthday message.
Yeah, The Rock was
the biggest superstar in the world, isn't he?
Yeah, so The Rock has been, I don't have too many people that I quote unquote look up to. The Rock is one of them. The reason why I just love, again, his come up story, come up from nowhere. Nothing. He talks about having $7 in his account. I just love the journey from, being a wrestler or being an athlete to being a wrestler to being the highest paid movie star in the world to now owning a number of different brands, and I love that in any time that I've been around him, and I've been around him a handful of times, he's always been amazing. He's always been professional. He's always been fantastic. And, even to the point once where I did an interview and, he obviously he could see my passion for him. And he said, I want you to do some work with me and my company. And he, then I did a little bit of outside work for his company, which was pretty cool. Like I'm on a WhatsApp group with his executives, right?
Incredible.
And we did a bit of work whilst he was.
So when the interview finished, you continued the conversation and the numbers were exchanged.
Yeah, he's like, man, I'm going to get my people to give you a contact because I can see that you're waving my flag, and I really, really like that. And I thought to myself, for me, that was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So those sort of celebrities.
And he is in the group?
No, he's not in the group, but his people are in the group.
Do you have his number?
No, I don't have his.
So even then, he didn't give you his number?
No, you're not going to do that. And I don't expect that. I've got some celebrity numbers in my phone.
But he knows your name. If he sees you, he goes, hi, Kris.
So when I went to Germany a couple of months ago to do another interview with him, and as soon as, there's a lot of people doing interviews with him, but as soon as he walked up the stairs, he's like, yo, my man Kris, what's going on?
Wow.
And that's a cool moment for me. Like, for me, that's the,
He's a busy guy. He's famous. And he's,
I won't say intimidation, but I was somewhat nervous because it was unexpected. We were doing the red carpet and in Abu Dhabi for the Mission Impossible. And Tom Cruise wasn't doing any interviews at that time. And last minute they said, Kris, Tom Cruise on the red carpet, quick interview. So I wasn't prepared. It's not like we were preparing for an interview. Because when you do interviews with big celebrities.
You're thinking about how it's going to go, type of questions you want to ask.
Exactly. You go through it all. But, and I've got this interview pinned on my Instagram. If you go to it, it's on one of the reels. It's pinned there. But like Tom Cruise, iconic.
Amazing.
One of the greatest.
All our lives he's been there. One
of the greatest actors of all time. Also has that other side, which is that weirdness side that the media has spoken about, from Scientology to his exes and all. So there's that element to him. Yes. So you get the biggest actor in the world and this weird sort of chap unknown.
Yes.
And now you're going to stand next to him. And I'm like, wow, this is Tom Cruise. This is a moment. And so I did the interview and I look back at it now and I looked at myself. I thought, wow, you did really good there, Kris. You look cool. You look calm. You didn't come across being nervous.
You weren't flustered.
But inside the heart was going. And he was really great though. Mm-hmm. And I always find, and I try to take this with me in my profession, the bigger the celebrity that they are, the more professional they are, the more humble they are, the more on time they are, the more less of an entourage they usually have.
Yes.
And I love that. And he was fantastic. And there's a moment in that interview, if you end up finding it here, is he gave me the Tom Cruise dead stare in the eye, grabbed the back of my neck and shook my hand and was like,
yeah.
And I was like, and I remember that moment going, whoa, this is really intense. Mm-hmm. But I loved it.
But he's an intense guy.
He's so intense. He was so...
It has to be the best at anything and everything he does.
Competitive guy. Yes. I mean, what is he, 60-something, isn't he?
And he's
still jumping out of the planes.
Like and that, flying jets.
And you will know this. The successful people...
There's no luck.
Yeah, there's no luck. There might be a little bit of right place or right time, but you put yourself in that position to be right place and right time, right?
Yes.
Like I always think about, certain things that I've done in my career and what I've wanted to achieve.
If
and
you hadn't
how
put
I've
yourself out there, you wouldn't have bumped into those people or opportunities.
I remember early in my career, and remember I moved to this country, to the city of Dubai. No one knew me. I didn't know anyone, right? I moved here like everyone else moves here, right? Okay, great. I was going to work for a radio station. So
I didn't know how big.
I didn't know what I was going to do. And there's 50 radio stations in this country. Yes. There's 200 radio presenters doing what I do. But I knew what I wanted to do and I knew how I wanted to get there. So I just stuck to my plan. But there was one bucket list thing that I wanted to do. And I remember I said, one day I would love to host on the red carpet of the Oscars. For a presenter, that is a bucket list thing to do. And so I had that in the back of my head. Now, it took me 10 years before I got that opportunity. But I put myself in the right position. I was working out strategically who has the rights to the Oscars in the Middle East. I found the network.
Wow, so it's not Virgin?
No, it was OSN TV that had at the time.
So you spoke to them?
And I formed a relationship with OSN. Yeah.
No coincidence.
No, of course. And then eventually I planted the seed. Hey, you guys go to the Oscars. I'd love to one day. Oh, that's a good idea.
And you've been doing it every year since.
Yeah, and then they don't have the Oscars now, but I did it for five consecutive years in a row.
Who's got the Oscars now?
I'm not sure, to tell you the truth. I'm not sure.
So you didn't cover it this year?
No, I didn't.
But you were in LA recently.
Correct. Yeah, at the same time.
I thought that you were there.
It was actually at the same randomly, and it was a what's the word? Like a nostalgia feeling where I was like, I forgot that the Oscars were on. Mm-hmm. I was down in Hollywood, and I'm like, oh, the roads are closed for the Oscars. Oh, they're happening tomorrow. And then I was like, oh, well, I wish I could have done that, But because the feeling of a red carpet, I've done a lot of red carpets. The Oscars red carpet, there's nothing like it because you don't know what's coming. You are literally fighting the rest of the world's media.
For their attention.
There are like, let's say 30 spots on that red carpet. You are only given, honestly, this is the area that you're given to stand in.
Are there people shoving and pushing?
Yeah, and I remember the first year I did it.
You've been a gentleman.
Yeah, and I had someone who I admire is Mario Lopez.
Yes.
Mario Lopez is one of the greatest presenters. He was standing right next to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, Mario Lopez is right next to me. Yeah. This is fantastic. Doing
he
extra.
Pushed past you.
He's obviously been doing red carpets for years.
And they recognize him.
He used his back to push me out of the way, and he opened up his box. So if you look on the TV, he actually looks like he's got double the amount of space. Oh. And now Mario Lopez is pushing me out of the way, and I'm losing all these interviews. And I'm like, well, what do I do here? Do I tell Mario, mate, I'm not a small guy either, and I can hold my own, but It's Mario Lopez. I look up to this guy. So eventually I had to say, sorry, Mr. Lopez, you're getting in my shot, because his back was all lit up in my shot.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
He's a professional.
And it was, sorry, mate.
Exactly. Oh, man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
And then I held my own and I got what I needed. But come year 2, with anything with experience, now I'm not standing next to Mario, I'm standing next to him. I knew how to run it.
Yes.
And I knew how to do it. And because you're competing. And I still remember once.
Because you can be, it's like stargaze, like this and miss the opportunity. And it happens to most people in life, right?
Leonardo DiCaprio walked straight by. You don't get him. He doesn't want to stop. The Rock went straight by. This is before I knew The Rock. He walked straight by. I remember having Salma Hayek interviewing Salma.
She's amazing.
Fantastic. Seeing Nicole Kidman walking through. And I wanted Nicole
Get rid
Kidman
of
as well.
her to get Nicole Kidman.
But you strategically have to do an interview and then work out, okay, how am I going to... So I remember wrapping it up going, Salma Hayek, we love you. Thank you so much. Can you say hello to the Middle East? And hi, Middle East, da-da-da-da. Nicole. Nicole didn't stop, but her husband, Keith Urban, who's Australian.
Yes.
I'm like, Keith, fellow Aussie, mate, can you come through?
He pulled her over.
Yeah, and he was like, we'll try to come through, mate, right? So like, it's war. But it's like life.
And everybody's
like
shouting. Everyone,
shouting.
They're trading. That
but I got a loud voice. No one's gonna be louder than me.
You're gonna come to that. You have a brother, sibling. Do you have any other siblings?
2 older sisters.
Oh, because I never see them anywhere.
They're like, so I've got 2 amazing sisters. Shireen, the older sister.
Yes.
She's one of the best artists in Australia. Okay. She's a doctor in philosophy. She's a master in everything that she does, and she's a lecturer at university. My other sister is a naturopath and holistic sort of kind of doctor as well. And she's a fantastic mother. So they're my older sisters, but they're like not so much, my brother and I are a little bit different. My brother's
younger.
My younger brother.
Yes.
He's amazing at what he does.
You guys are so similar looking.
Right? Yeah.
And your kids are similar looking.
Very
right?
similar. Yeah. We sort of like, as we younger, we didn't look the same. It's funny, but as we got older, we started to sort of morph into the same
way. And
with the same beard and same everything. So yeah, he works.
So you have to be. Is he loud? Is he outspoken?
Not as loud as I am. I think
you always were. As a child.
I wasn't. That's the crazy thing. That even my mum said the same thing. I was a really I was a shy individual. I spoke with a lisp. I spoke like this. Up until I think
so, speaking was an issue to you.
Yeah, I remember being conscious about my chat, because when I was younger, when I was a kid, I didn't want to talk because I felt that's how I spoke, and then eventually got rid of the lisp. And then I don't know how I got into that transformation of being a loud person that can go on a stage and hold it. Because back in school days, that was not me. But in school, I did have. It's interesting when I grew up in Australia in Sydney, going to school. Schools were kind of like, we're very multicultural, but you'd have the Greeks would hang out with the Greeks, the Lebanese would hang out with the Lebanese, the Italians would hang out with the Italians, Australians would be with the Aussies. It was all like, not saying that we didn't interlink, but you found these groups of people, and I realized that back when I was at school. I was kind of friends with everyone. I didn't just hang out with the Lebanese. To a lot of people, yes. I was hanging out with everyone. Like I was the guy that and they used to call me Smiley because I just used to smile. So I used to have this obviously smile on my face and whatever. So maybe when I was younger, I had that energy.
So do you think that's just in your DNA?
I think so. Maybe I think the way you brought up, I think your parents and the way that you brought up.
Your brothers and sisters are the same? Happy, smiley?
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, again, but I think I probably, a lot of it comes down to mum and the love and affection.
I was going to say, which one? So your mum's the
love and affection. Dad,
a little bit extrovert, but your dad's the quiet, calm,
Dad's quiet,
chilled.
Yeah, chill, doesn't want to be in front of the camera. I think mum wanted it, in another life, I think mum was a performer. I think she definitely was in another life. So I think we got a lot of it from mum. But saying that, I probably took most of the DNA from all the kids to be the entertainer and the performer, But I think later in life, my brother's found that he's on a TV show now called Gogglebox. So it's one of the biggest TV shows in Australia. So he's on that. So he's also...
Is it reality TV?
It's kind of like reality TV. It's an interesting concept, which you would never think would work. It's other people watching TV shows and commenting on the TV shows.
Oh, right, okay.
It's a big show in the UK and it's a big show in Australia. Okay. And he does a great job with it with his wife and his 2 kids. So, to see him be able to start doing that side of his life and, then getting onto social media and now he's kind of doing what I'm doing.
Does he look up to you? Does he ask for advice?
I think so, yeah. I try to give him a bit of advice when it comes to that type of field, like entertainment side of things and even social media. There's strategies involved of what try doing this, you should be doing that, maybe try doing this content more.
Yes.
And I think, he takes that advice. But, it's crazy. He's my younger brother, but I ask him for advice as well with certain things. I think that's, we're both at an age now where we both,
close relationship, all loving. Great
really great relationship. I've got a good relationship with all my siblings, which is beautiful, because, there's nothing worse when I hear people tell me they don't talk to their brother or their sister for some reason, and I always say that it might be that moment in later in life when they're not there anymore, and you may regret that. So I always tell people, like, for your own sake,
yes,
because that will be the voice in your head that will have regret.
Unfortunately, sometimes it's the other person.
Yeah,
maybe you have a deeper understanding of life. Maybe they're not ready. So you can only make so much effort before you realize they're actually happy not speaking.
And you know what? There is that moment where, you can pull away and you've said, I've tried everything I tried.
Yes.
But at least then when you know that moment when maybe they're not around anymore,
yes,
you won't have that voice in your head saying, I should have tried harder. It's like when you break up with someone, right? It's like if you've gone through a divorce, which you and I both have, or you break up with a partner, you never want to regret that years down the line. So you want to know, I always tell people if they're going to go through a divorce or a breakup, I say, go get counseling, go and try, give it all you've got, because you don't want to be years down the line thinking,
regrets.
I probably shouldn't have done that, or I should have tried harder to keep us together.
Yes.
And I know in my divorce, we both tried as hard as we
Well,
could.
she also tried.
Yeah, I mean,
sometimes one wants to go, the other one wants to stay. You're trying.
Yeah, I think we
both
we
give it a
both
go.
we both knew it was done,
Right.
but we both did try.
Yes.
Right? We probably should have divorced a year earlier.
Probably you should never really go into a relationship.
100%.
Right? Because the signs are always there, but you choose not to see it. It could be just passion, it could be the right moment, it could be whatever. But we're all there to serve each other.
Yeah.
But I think, focus sometimes blinds you. And you think the signs were always there, I chose not to see it.
Yeah, and you didn't know. As we get older, we
We're
know.
wise enough to see.
So I think that's what it is as well. And like horse have the vision. You're not looking around because you're so focused on what you think you want, and you want that. And but I have no regrets.
Because you were both young.
100%.
We
We're
were
both young.
We were both kids. I look back now and say we were babies.
Right?
Yeah, we've grown to become mature human beings together. Maybe not together at the same time, but together in separate homes.
Correct. But how are we asking our children to know what they want to do at the age of 16 and 17? How are they supposed to know that?
The responsibilities you had at 27.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
And I see 30-year-olds. I'm like, they're kids. I was a dad of two, at 30.
But I think, I don't know if you believe this, but I feel like a 30-year-old now is younger than a 30-year-old of not only when we were 30, but also when our parents were 30. Like
at 40, I thought my parents were old.
Crazy. Same with me.
I was like, they were only like 20 years younger than where I am now.
It's crazy, right?
My grandma was 55 and I thought she was an old woman.
It's unbelievable. That's exactly how I would think. But also I think to myself, I think my mum had the 4 kids by she was 38 years old. She had 4 children, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, I know 38-year-old people, men and women.
Yes, and they're going out every
night.
They're
going out, still clubbing every weekend. They're at the bars, they're brunches. They have 0 kids. They want to have kids, but they're not ready to do it right now, maybe in the next few years. And I think, well, have we evolved as a race? Or are we, because we've got to live longer, hopefully, so we can continue doing this.
There's a lot of people who actually say, I'm really happy, I don't want kids.
And that's okay.
And it's okay as well. To me, true happiness is when you're with your kids.
I have had discussions with people that don't want to have children.
And I respect that.
I respect it, but I do tell them.
Once you do.
Because guess what? We've both been in a place where we didn't have children.
Yes.
And then we've both been in a place where we've had children.
Yes.
And that feeling
Much rather have this.
Wow. Well, but saying that, for people that, I always like to think of people that really want children and can't have children. Because that's a hard one.
It's a sad place.
Yeah.
Or they want to have children and they lost their children.
Correct. It's really
It breaks
hard.
my heart because not all pregnancies go according to plan.
No way.
I have, I'll share with you, I have 2 older children. My son, who's 31, we're together every single day. We work together, we're inseparable. My daughter, because I know you have 2 daughters, she went through a phase from age of 15 to about 19 when she was like, I'm growing to be a woman now, Dad, leave me alone. And then I would go hug her, she'll freeze. I could feel that hugging because we were always like you, hugging, loving, touching, kissing. And then at 19, she goes, I'm ready now. But she conditioned me not to hug.
Interesting.
Right? She was letting me back in because she was all a woman now. She knew where she stood and everything else. Now, we have a relationship where it breaks my heart, where she's 30, 29, 30, and we don't see each other that often.
Why?
She's happy on her own. She's happy doing her own thing. We speak every single day, but I'm the first one who makes the move.
Is she living here?
She lives here. I can see her from where I live. I can see where she lives. And I know that she's happy. And you know, when you make the call, it's like having a girl who doesn't particularly want to be with you, a girlfriend that you're the one who always makes the messages, the text. She always responds an hour or two later. But I'm finding myself that it's kind of heartbreaking that she's ready to have her own life. And she has her own life, but she doesn't necessarily want to see me every day.
No, that's okay that you don't want to see each other every day. I think that's...
Or sometimes a month.
But
and we live in the same city.
Have you opened up about that?
Yes. She goes, oh, sorry, Dad, I didn't think.
There's nothing.
Another 2 weeks goes by.
But there's not it's not an incident. It's not a certain thing that may have happened.
When we meet, it's like she's very similar to me. Very similar to me. Very spiritual, philosopher, thinker, good human being. We have a lot of similarities. But then there's a little bit of jealousy, because it's my first one. There's a little bit of jealousy within. Actually, I'm not a jealous person, but I notice she spends a lot of time with her mum. So, hi, where are you? I'm with mum. I'm like, oh, you could be with me.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm kind of thinking, okay, whatever I'm doing isn't inspiring her to come to see me. How can I inspire her to want to come and see me? But then I look at her mum, and mum is very non-judgmental. Her mum is very quiet.
Were you judgmental on her when she was younger, maybe?
I think I'm just outspoken.
Well, there might be... I'm not. I don't know the relationship.
I say it as I think it.
Yeah,
so
same with me. I'm the same thing, but maybe, you know...
I have an opinion, I share it.
Yeah, maybe... I don't know if there's resentment or if there's like, I know what... If I meet with Dad, Dad's going to say something.
Yes.
And I don't want to be in that position.
Yes, that's the thing.
That could be it.
Dad cares, but he's going to say it. He's not going to hold back.
Yeah.
He's going to give his opinion.
Yeah, and that's, I'm pretty much the same with I haven't reached that age with my girls, obviously, but one of them's 15.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm trying. I'm getting used to it.
Wait till the boyfriends come. Oh, no.
No, there'll be no boyfriends. What are you talking about?
I said the same thing.
There'll be no, I'm ready. No, I know it's all coming, but you know. But what do you do as a father to prepare yourself for that? How do you prepare yourself for your teenage, for your daughters to start getting boyfriends?
The first boyfriend that we met in Starbucks. And so I've got to meet the guy. So he comes to see me, and he was nervous. He was shaking.
Can I ask how old was your daughter at the time?
25, 26.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. And then, so he's a good guy. He's ex now. But he came in Starbucks, and he was like, well, I've got education here. I've been this and I've been that.
Selling himself.
And I said, yeah, poor son. I said, if you're trying to impress me, it's not working. Oh. And he was like, oh.
Gosh, there's nothing worse.
And he goes, can I get you a coffee? I said, can you afford it? and then honestly, then I cracked up and he cracked up, and our friendship. But I hate to be the guy who's going to go and see the father of the girl. Yeah, imagine what's.
I know. I'm trying to remember when I had my first girlfriend I was 16 years old. So
you started young.
Yeah, I remember.
I wasn't sure if I was heterosexual at 16. I was like, all my mates are dating. Is there something wrong with me?
No, but you can start. No, it's funny. I fell into an early relationship.
He had a lisp as well.
No, I had lost it by then.
I
think so. But yeah, from 16 to like 20, I think 21 or 22, I was with the same girl.
Wow.
You know, and it was like the high school love. But I remember going to meet the father and go. Yes. I mean, it's a very intimidating thing for a man, for a young boy. I know for a fact I'm going to be intimidating. Like I want to be intimidating on purpose. Yeah, even like a couple of the guys came around the house to hang out.
Yes.
And I'm happy about that. Like I want my house to be that house. I want them to feel comfortable. I don't want to be the scary dad that's like.
But there's a limit. Right?
Yeah, and everything. Yeah, there's definitely a limit.
Boundaries.
No, but
and they have to sign the contract before they come in with all those boundaries.
When they came in, they knew that Dad's home. Like they know Dad. The way that I shake their hand, the way that I look at them, I want to be a little. And my daughter was like, "Can you not? Can you not?" At one point, I had my shirt off, and they're like,
know you.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, they know me. Yeah. They're like, "Dad, can you put your shirt on?" I'm like, "No,
I'm flexing.
I want to see that I've got my shirt off, got all my tats on, and Dad's a little crazy." All right? Like I want them to know that, but at the same time, they know.
And they know you're not going to do jack, right? And they know that's the thing.
Exactly.
I want to meet the guy and say, I could kill you, but I'm probably not going to do that.
I'm not going to
because
do
the
that.
consequences are terrible. I want to
do nothing.
You.
But that's the thing about parenthood. Like you're not given a book.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just give them love. That's all that is. That's if I was going to say to anyone, just give your kids love. And that's what you do all the time. Yeah. You're very demonstrative. You show it.
Good.
You don't hold back. Congratulations.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I want them to be I've told them both separately, my daughters, especially now as they reach that age of just social media and being embarrassed and cringe and all that. I said to them, like, no matter what happens, no matter how bad it gets for you, I want you to be able to come and tell me. I won't judge you. I won't react. I will fix the problem. Okay, I will fix whatever the problem is that you are going through. I will fix it for you if you need me to fix it.
If you need me
to fix it. You come to me, I'll get it done. If the point comes where something has gone so bad that you need help, I will fix it for you. I won't judge you at that moment.
Yes.
Once the problem is resolved,
we'll have a chat.
But I want you to know in those dark moments or those times that you need something, Dad is here for you and I'll get it done.
Wow.
I think that's important. And they both acknowledge that. I never want them to have
something. They go, all right, Dad.
Yeah, back on the phone.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
I'm on TikTok.
Right, yeah,
I'm doing it. What are you doing? No, but like I want them to know that. I want them to know that, because, I think growing up, even when I was a kid, like we were scared of Dad. Like really? Dad was the intimate.
You look at him now, he's the
nice
buttermilk melts in his mouth. Yeah.
But growing up, Dad was the one that you didn't want to get angry. Like you didn't want to get Dad angry. And I remember there were little things. We'd go to parties and pretend that we're going to this house, but we really went to that house. And I remember once we got caught. Like I totally remember when we got caught once, and he had to come pick us up from a party at 11 o'clock at night. And I remember being absolutely petrified. Yep. Just petrified.
And what did he do? Nothing. It was just cool.
Silence. It was just silence in the car. I remember being just silence in the car. He actually reacted pretty well, but it was enough for me to know.
Anticipation of
it's the build-up of that fear. And I don't want my girls I want them to have respect for me.
Sure.
And they know that Dad is Dad, but I want them to have that best friend feeling as well.
And never lose it.
And you hopefully
ideally, I want their partners to think of me the same.
Yeah,
the ideal situation that they think I'm a fair and reasonable guy.
Yeah.
And they can come to me.
Yeah, true.
Because as a man, I've made mistakes.
Yeah.
Right? So come and share it with me. And it's the greater good is to look after her.
Correct.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you want to just make sure that whoever's with your child is there to make them feel better and to make them a better person.
We haven't even gone into Fade Fit yet.
Wow.
So just to leave one advice, if somebody wants to get into the show business, they want to get into radio, 2 or 3 things that you advise our listeners to work on.
Okay, so I get every day someone tell me this, and this does not qualify. My friends tell me I should be on radio because they think I talk great and I don't ever shut up. Have you got a job? Like literally, that's what we get. I get that all the time. I'm like, no. If you want to do this professionally, if you want to be on radio, you want to have a podcast show, you want to be on TV, you want to be in that entertainment industry. As Drake says, you got to start from the bottom. Now you're here. You can't just go into, we get a lot of people message us on Virgin just wanting to start. What's your experience? None. You can't just come into the number 1 radio station or the number 1 TV station or the whatever. It's like anything, you want to be an F1 driver. You don't just go to an F1 team. You start at the go-karts. You work your way up, and that's what this industry is all about. You really got to start from the basics, and you've got to learn along the way. You teach yourself a lot of it, right? Find out someone that's doing what you want to do, and then just follow them, be it on social media. Listen to how they present, see what they do. Don't copy them, but take tips. And then, so from a radio point of view, I always tell people right now, you want to get into radio, a couple of things I do. Number 1 is definitely start a podcast. And, everyone's doing podcasts these days. Not all of them are good. 99% of them aren't. The 1% that are good are doing what they need to do. But what's it doing for them? It's teaching them the art of talking
And
listening and asking questions and being a great interviewer and da-da-da-da. Even this podcast, you go back to the first one you ever did, you'll look back and go, oh my gosh, I've worked so... I
still think I'm shit.
No, you're good. This is great. Like, this is such a great conversation. I've been doing this for 22 years, you know, the art of being able to interview someone and listen and then take another question from that answer that they just gave.
Questions have got to flow, right?
Yeah, because, you know, a lot of people will be
like an interview, like a CV interview, job interview.
Correct. You know, I could have told you, you know, and then she died. And then you'd be like, and so what car was the first car that you drove?
What's your favorite color?
I just told you that someone just died. So I would get people to start doing a podcast to begin with if they want to get into radio. And then once they've started to do that and they've started to feel more about it, contact your local radio stations. But don't go to the biggest radio station there is in the market. Go to the smallest and tell them straight out.
Because they're going to take a risk on you.
Yeah, like, I mean,
they're not going to give you millions of listeners. Let's just see how it goes.
2 years I worked for a radio station for free. I didn't get paid. I just surrounded in Australia. Yeah. I just surrounded myself around the right people and the right presenters. I mean, I used to just watch a radio presenter. I'd sit in the studio and just watch them. Wow. And I'd just be like,
you always wanted to be a...
No, I didn't get into radio till I was 24. So it was 24 is when I...
Do you know, I couldn't believe, like, you 5 years you were washing
cars.
5 years of your life you were washing cars.
Well, for 5 years of my life, I was like, I was lost. I didn't know what I needed to do. But
you stuck it out.
Yeah.
In those days, I used to job hop.
Well, that's kind of what I was doing. I didn't know what I got. I didn't get enough grades to go to college, to go to university.
Sure.
39 out of the 100, I didn't get in. So I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I was a barista, just making coffees, washing cars, selling clothes. I look back at it. What a great time of my life, though. I think I was earning $150 a week.
And he went all the way. You had spare cash.
I don't know how I did it. It's crazy when you think about, like, I remember driving and, like, it cost $20 to fill up the car. Yes. So you get your weekly salary. Yeah, $20 to fill up the car. I used to live on my own at that time. When I was younger, I think my rent was about $100. So I'm $120 in. I'd buy a pack of cigarettes. I used to smoke. So, I mean, the pack of cigarettes, I think, was $7 at the time.
I can't imagine you're so healthy.
Oh, I smoked a lot. I'm so glad I don't anymore. But it's crazy that, you just itemize everything. And I'd still have a little bit of money to go out and have a good time.
I had little envelopes. Do you have envelopes?
Yeah.
I had envelopes and I'll put like £10 here, £5 here.
So you knew where the money was?
It was so well, it was all divided and there was some spare envelope at the end.
Cute. That's the best way to do it, though. But, like, as we started this conversation, the come up, me doing that and understanding and getting the money is now being able to, like, you know, if I wanted to buy a Ferrari tomorrow, I could buy a Ferrari tomorrow and it'd be okay, you know. So I've learnt to enjoy my wealth, not waste my wealth.
Yes.
And not to be
frivolous.
Yeah, and like social media, like, you know, we see it so much now. The flashiness of, like, you know, and if I do put something up that I'm putting it up not because I want to say, like, look what I got, and I'm doing it because I want to hopefully maybe inspire someone, but also...
That doing what I do every single day made me have this car and this lifestyle. And you could also have it.
And it's because I really love it and I want to show you what I've got, my million followers that I've got. I want to show you that I got these special rims on this Cybertruck that I wanted because I love these rims. And it's not because it's sort of like, here I am on my first class flight, or here's my Birkin that I've got positioned on the table here because I want you to make sure that you've seen it. And
I can't believe how many people who have that life live in rented accommodation.
Well, that's the other thing.
The cars are not theirs. And I think it's not authentic. How can they look at themselves in the mirror and think, I've had a good day?
And that's the sadness of where I think we've headed with social media. And it's something that I tell my daughters, that a lot of the things that we do see are not real. You know, a Birkin is not a cheap thing to own, right? I know for a fact there are people running around with ones that aren't really theirs or they're fakes, but they want to perceive and have their followers or their community think that they are. Yes. That makes me sad. It makes me sad for them, but it also makes me sad for my daughters who see that and think that's a normal life. It's not normal.
Yes.
That's not a normal life.
The thing is, you know it. You see, I can assume that this is it, but you know that you know them, right?
There's a lot of fakeness where we are right now, And I'm hoping that we do a full circle, that it gets stripped back somehow, and we do go back to a lifestyle that's different. People have created the art of being able to act on social media.
Yes.
I know people who are life coaches who shouldn't be a life coach.
Yes, because their life's a mess.
Correct.
So
But
who are you to tell someone how to live a good life if your life's a mess?
They've learnt the art as an actor to study a script somewhat, get on a social media, do an improv, but I'm going to tell you what you got to do, da-da-da. Someone who is in the lowest moment of their life comes up and goes, wow, this guy knows, or this girl knows what she's talking about.
So I'll just borrow some money.
I'm going to go
buy their course.
I'm going to do their course.
Yes.
I'm going to do their course.
Yes.
And that makes me sick.
Yes.
Because you're taking people, and I've been at those low moments when I was suffering anxiety and depression, where if someone told me, take this pill,
you would
do this thing, eat this, I'm doing it because I need that. And I want people to understand that what we see on social media is not always true, and it's not always real. And just be careful who you pick and choose to follow or to admire or to be as your mentor, because a lot of it's fake.
Yes.
You know?
I want your advice, if that's okay.
Sure.
And this is what I'm going through right now. I have about 6-7 million followers, and a lot of them are active. But they're coming to me saying, Dariush, you do your events, you do this, and you just leave us, right? We lost. Help us. So what I did was I did about 3 terabytes of content, educational content. I put it on Udemy, sold it $20, and it's doing quite well. But nobody's going to sit and watch 4 or 5 hours videos, right? People get bored. And then I do small segments, put it on social media, but not long enough. So what I did was I created, 6 months of videoing with 12 actors and actresses. So if you want sales, marketing, psychology of business, this, it's all there. Then AI comes into play. Now, I don't have much expenses to put it out in the marketplace. I can put the contents onto an AI platform and offer it free of charge to all my followers. So they can ask Dariush a question. The content keeps improving because the AI keeps improving.
Yep.
From my experience, every time I've done something for free, nobody did anything.
As in they didn't do it.
They didn't do anything.
Because they're not paying for it.
They're not paying for it. So I've got to have self-worth, right? So I'm thinking, should I charge $9.99? Should I charge $1.99? Should I charge $99.99 per month? And somebody, because when they're parting with something, they actually action it. But if they're getting it for free, it'll never get utilized. I'm defeating. Because last year I spent 40 hours a month coaching people for free. And not one of them, Kris, did anything. But every single person who's paying me $10,000, $15,000 a month, they took action. So I'm in a dilemma because I don't want people to think he's doing it for the money. I'm not. But I do know that people don't pay attention if they don't pay something.
Yeah, I mean...
What do I do?
It's like when you throw a free concert. You don't throw free concerts usually or free events. Yes. Because people, they'll sign up and say they're going to go, and then come Saturday morning,
they find a reason not to go.
Well, and they don't have any input. They haven't left their money around. But if they pay $10 for the ticket, guess what? They're going to get there. Yes. So I think definitely charging is important. But everything is, everyone has their value. I'm not someone that tells someone you should be doing it for free. Now, what I mean by that is because I do believe that working for free is still good if you're trying to get experience in a field that you have zero experience in.
But not after 47 years of business.
You've got the experience and you're telling us something that's going to hopefully be beneficial for us. I'd definitely be selling it. A subscription model would be good, or a one-off.
I'm thinking a small fee. Yeah, that's not going to make you huge amounts of money, but actually they value it a little bit and they listen.
Yeah, I think trying to find that. Well, I think for you as well, it's like the fitness industry, and we'll talk about what Fade Fit's doing in a moment. But I'm an investor in other companies fitness related, and one of the things that I tell the board about and tell our employees about, and the guys that we run the businesses with is a lot of fitness companies target the fit. And if you go to their social media, they'll have guys with 6-packs out, girls with fantastic bodies, and all that. And it's like, you don't have to talk to these fit guys and girls.
Because they don't have pain. They don't need it.
And they're doing their own thing already.
Yeah, it's working for
It's the 90% of the other people who are overweight, who are intimidated by these visuals.
Yes.
And so I would tell the team, let's not put guys with huge muscles up and girls with fantastic bodies up, because it is actually not going to attract who we want. We want the 90% of people that we don't even see.
Yes.
Who would never go to the gym.
Yes.
Who would never ask for a personal trainer.
Yes. And they feel comfortable
Correct.
buying your products because they have something to aim for.
Correct. And that's what we found, that when we started to change the visuals, we started
Before
to get
you
more...
go there, what made you start? You driving along, you thought, I like fitness. Somebody called you with a business opportunity. Fade Fit. How did it all start? And how long ago did it start?
So Fade
So
Fit.
we're going to go to the imaging and marketing.
Yeah, but well, it relates to this. I started Fade Fit because it came from a dark moment. Sometimes the worst moments in your life bring you the best opportunities. I was seriously going through anxiety and depression. I didn't know what it was, but I wasn't feeling good. I felt like this fear of death somewhat. And it was because a few things were going on. I was stressed out. I was going through a divorce. I wasn't looking after myself.
Tight.
I
just tight chested. You couldn't
everything.
breathe.
Oh, mate,
it's
it's the worst feeling in the world, right? And until you've gone through anxiety, you don't know what it feels like.
Chris, you still turned up at 5 a.m.
I still did it, and it was really hard to rock up to work. But those moments of just going through those dark moments, I realized being unhealthy was a real big trigger. I was 128 kilos. I was overweight. I was obese. I was clinically obese. I was smoking a pack of cigarettes a day. I was getting drive-through fast food.
Honestly, I remember.
Yeah, you remember?
I was saying, what's going on with Chris?
I was horrible, right? And so
it wasn't horrible. You looked unfit and overweight. Yeah.
And it's crazy. I didn't really think I did until now. You look at the photos. I was like, whoa, I was so overweight, right? And so I ended up finding fitness. And the reason why I found fitness is because to get off the pills that the psychiatrist had given me for the anxiety, I started going to the gym. And when I went to the gym, I started to feel a lot better. And I realized the more time I spent in the gym, the better I felt. So I started doing double gym sessions a day, only to make me feel better mentally. Now, I started to lose weight and I started to get fit. And then I started to watch what I consumed. I started eating cleaner. I wanted to get rid of a lot of the things that I was putting into my body. And that's where Fade Fit sort of came from.
Stop
smoking.
Better,
yeah.
Go to the gym twice a day. And then
I had a lot of my community message me saying, Chris, wow, we've seen a huge transformation. I lost like 28 kilos more. How did you do it? And I was replying to people, DMing this, that, da, da, da. And then I realized, you know what? Let me do a day of community. Let me do a community. So we did a free day seminar at the beach here in Dubai. It was a free seminar. I told people to register. Now, looking back at it, I probably should have charged them because we had 2,500 people register. 750 people rocked up, right? Now that's because it was
still
free.
A good number, but
right.
1,500 didn't show up, right?
But I'm glad only 750 came because we couldn't actually hold more than 700.
Yeah.
We were actually pretty full. But on that day, we had a day of just motivational speakers, professional nutritionists, gym instructors. I told my story, and it was really a moving morning. It was about a 4-hour morning, similar to what you do with the Gladiator, and it was just a beautiful morning. People left in tears. People left inspired, and that was really the conception of Fade Fit. And I've got a photo, which I still have today, and it's got the big Fade Fit logo, which my sister created for me, right? And it stood there with, a couple of hundred people behind the sign.
No products.
That was what Fade Fit was. It wasn't until about a year later that I thought to myself, I want to leave a legacy for my children. I want to leave something for my children. I was trying to buy them snacks, and there weren't a huge amount of options that were healthier. And I felt like I had to buy them imported snacks, which were really expensive, or just really sugary, bad, horrible snacks. Poison, really, at the end of the day. So I realized there was a gap in the market. So I started talking to the right people and finding the right people. And we created our first kids snack. That was the first thing Fade Fit was. It was a kids snack.
I remember.
And I did a deal with Carrefour at the time. They stocked us in all of the country. And we did a huge promotion on the radio, which, I'm grateful for. And I used my social media. And we did a really good, successful launch.
Did Virgin charge you? Or
I pay for it.
No, I pay for everything.
I pay for everything.
Obviously, maybe preferential rates or something.
Yeah, I get a little bit, better rates than, person straight off the street. But you
still pay.
And the crazy thing is, I know radio works because it's my show. So people think sometimes, does radio work? And when I tell them, yeah,
I'm putting my money into
put my own money into it, it works. Believe me. So yeah, from there we had kids snacks, and then it's been 5 years, just over 5 years now.
All? It's amazing.
Yeah, but over 5 years now of the journey of Fade Fit, and we have about 20 products on the shelves. We have protein bars packed with 21 grams of protein balls, puffs, kids snacks still, hydration drinks about to drop, and we're one of the fastest moving, and that's the key word there, moving, which means people are buying your products in the entire UAE, and now we're selling in 9 countries across the world, and we're doing pretty well, and it's a business that's owned by me and my kids, and that's what I said.
Do you sit there? How often do you sit there talking about products and developing new products?
Yeah, like we, every month we'll sit down as a big team, and just run through what we're doing.
Do you have different suppliers now, or do you got the same?
Different suppliers.
So you sourcing all the time.
Correct. Yeah, and you risk in our industry if you only use one supplier, because God forbid
anything happens,
they have a fire or whatever, it completely shuts you down. So we've outsourced here and there, and as we grow into other markets like Australia, it doesn't make sense just to have products made here in Dubai and shipped over or air freighted over, because
and keep the prices.
Of course, it takes your margins. Yes. It costs a lot of money to do that sort of stuff. So, as we grow in other markets, we need to find manufacturers that can produce our products at the quality that we want. We're a healthier product. I never say we're the healthiest product, but we're a healthier option. I want to make sure that we're a stepping stone snack. I want to get people off
candies and
a cookie, pure sugar onto a better tasting snack that they enjoy. Yes. I want you to enjoy when you put a Fade Fit product in your mouth. I want you to be like, wow, that tastes really good.
Everywhere I go where I see Fade Fit, the first question is it shifting?
I
asked them, and
what do they say?
They go, really good. They sell really well.
That's what I want.
Not once I've come and said, oh, no, it's not, it's too expensive, or it doesn't shift. Everybody buys.
And that's what I want. I want people to say it moves. And, we've got some great partners globally. We're in every Subway across the UAE. We're in every Costa Coffee. We're in every cinema or theater that you go to, all the big major supermarkets. So as a small family homegrown brand, we're making an impact on the shelves. Yes. And I know the big boys see us.
Yes.
The big boys see our numbers, and I love that, and they've had inquiries already like, hey, what are you doing there? And how much are you interested in selling one day? And,
amazing.
And right now for me, it's a family business and I want to keep it growing.
Do I just got my book out recently, and it's not about the money. I see it on the shelves of Virgin and Borders and Kinokuni, and it just makes you feel good. Legacy.
When you walk into your bookshop, in a bookstore, and you see your book on there, that's the way that I walk in and I see my snacks on a shelf. I'm like, wow, this came from an idea, and to see it. And then the next level of that is when you see someone
eating it or reading it. Yes.
Yeah,
or they send you a DM on social media.
It's
become part of their lives.
I was at the airport the other day, and I was standing in line, and I just saw a lady grab my product and pay for it. And I'm looking at that. And I'm like, wow, that's so cool. That's so cool.
Isn't it?
That's so cool.
It came from an idea. Now she's paying a hard-earned money
to buy a product what I usually do, if it happens quite often, I'll pay for it.
No, really?
I'll say, excuse me, can I buy it? They think it's a strange, what I love is people are buying my snack not knowing who I am, which is the ideal situation. I don't want you to buy my snack just because you know me. They're buying it because they like the product. Yes. And then I'm like, and they're like, no, it's okay. And I'm like, that's actually my company. And it would be an honor for me.
When they see you, sometimes they don't even know who you are.
That's what I'm saying. People are buying this.
No, I was thinking afterwards. So they pick up the product, and then they might turn around and say, oh, it's Kris. Or they might not even know you.
Correct, yeah. And it's crazy. Like, even the other day, I put something on social media, and I had a few people comment like, oh, I eat this every day. I didn't know this was your company.
Oh, but yeah, of course, it's Fade Fit. They don't get the two together.
They don't put the Kris Fade and the Fade Fit together. So, yeah, man, we're still a baby. We're just over 5 years, and inshallah, we keep growing, and it keeps doing what.
And you're funding it yourself.
Yeah, self-funded.
That's amazing.
It's profitable since month 4.
Yes.
And it just, I'm reinvesting all the money.
Yes.
The good thing about it is everything else that I've got going in my life, I don't need to rely on
Income
the Fade
from
Fit
this.
so I'm able to reinvest it where I need to, and I'm able to use the money to keep growing the brand and keep, creating great products,
What's the size of your team?
It's small, real small.
Sometimes that's best.
So we work with an agency called Imagine. They're a food and beverage specialist company, and Imagine is mainly founded and co-owned by Sasha, who's become a really close friend of mine. We've become like brothers, and they have a great team. They've got a team of over 60 people that work on other brands as well.
Yes.
So they help me because I'm a radio TV guy,
Not food. And
I can't.
Just in there.
Yeah, listen, if I ever gave that up, I can do it full time. And then, so I have my own small team of around 6 that works solely for Fade Fit within our little team.
Yes.
And then we have the outsourced Imagine team of around 60 people who, help us with, when I sign a deal in Soudi in 700 outlets, they're the team that will make sure that the distribution's there. How do we look on shelves? The merchandisers. Is everything good with our distributor? They're doing those days. My main role is to come up with the products, the R&D, make sure that they taste good. We take a pride on the packaging, how they look on shelves, the communication when it comes to social media, me marketing the products, influencers, all of that. That's what, we want to be the voice to get it out there,
Amazing. So where do you see, we're gonna finish on, because we rushed for time and I've kept you and I've thoroughly enjoyed this.
We'll do this again though. We will do this again. Please.
Yes, before summer.
Okay.
Because you're gone, I'm gone.
Okay.
We're gonna miss each other. And time flies.
Okay.
So where do you see yourself in 5 years with Fade Fit?
Still owned by myself. Could I have an investor? Possibly. But that investor would have to come with not just money. It would need to be because I know the expansion plan of what the investor is going to bring, be it on a global scale. Possibly. I have rejected many investments for Fade Fit. Every couple of months, I'll have an investor come in saying, can I invest? I've had a couple of buyout opportunities where they've wanted to buy the brand for a good amount of money.
Yes.
But I'm not ready to do that yet. So I see Fade Fit as a global company. All right. So I want to be in at least 20 different countries around the world.
Yes. Let's hit the States.
When
when you do the US, that's it. You're done.
We're close. Okay. We're really close. Our vitamins that we have and our hydration drink are both now produced in LA. Wow. So we want to slowly get into California.
Yes.
Because you're right. The States is a monster.
400 million people with money in their pocket.
Yep. So
they care about health
and that's a big thing for us. So, America's big, Europe's big. I get a huge request out of the UK. But we're chipping away. We'll do South Africa, we'll do Australia, the GCC, but in 5 years I want to make sure that we're in at least 25 countries, major cities and major countries across the world. And I want to be moving. I don't want to just be there. There's no point. I can probably be in 25 countries tomorrow, but I want to make sure that we're in there and we're moving and we're selling and the products are right. And I want to make sure that I would love to have Fade Fit as a household name. It's definitely a household name here in the UAE. Many people know the brand, right? But I want it to be a trusted.
I want to wrap it up, Chris. I want to wrap it up. I've got Dubai Bling to. I want to talk about. Okay, we're talking about kind of flashy lifestyles and social media. I would have thought if I didn't know you, Dubai Bling was one of those. A lot of people thought, Dubai is all flashy and all these people got too much money, they waste it. And sometimes it is a bit like that. The only reason I actually watched it because I felt you and your wife brought some sanity into the show. I'm being honest, right? And for whatever reason, season 1, you came out good. It wasn't, you weren't the bitchy ones, the silly ones. Somewhere along the way, your wife came across as a lady. It wasn't bitching and getting involved in anything. You kept that integrity still going. But you went into season 2. Are you going to go do season 3 and 4?
So season 3, which is out, no. We only did
season 3. You did 1 and 2.
We did 1 and 2.
2, and you didn't do season 3.
Season 3, no. And if there is a season 4, no. at this stage.
Because of those reasons, yeah.
It was more of, well, I think, first of all, the show did absolutely epically viewership globally. It was one
Is
of
it
the...
still doing it?
Still doing really good views, and the production team and the cast members, they all play their role, right? I do get, on a daily basis, Brianna will get the same thing. Thank you for keeping the show sane. Thank you for being real. Thank you for being relatable. We just wanted to get on the show and be as real as we possibly could. The Brianna and the Kris Fade that you see on the show is pretty much who we are in real life.
But Brianna wasn't in front of the camera until
never.
then.
She was never wanted to be in front of the camera.
Yes.
She just, I've told her, we're doing the show. You're all right to do it? She's like, yeah, okay. But we really thought the show was more going to be about my life, me. Mm-hmm. It's sort of, when we got into Dubai Bling, we didn't even know what the show's name was. We didn't really know what the show was about. We got told it was about entrepreneurs and people living in the UAE, so that was why.
Do they change the narrative that it looks different to how it really happened?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. In editing, they do a great job, and now the other cast members, cast members on the show, they know what they've got to give to get more screen time. You give more drama, you give more.
Ibrahim, he's like a really chill guy, and
he's a chill guy.
And
great
the camera
dude.
is fighting and is this and that.
Well, I don't want to talk for other people, but yeah, people know what to give to get more camera time. You give more camera time, you get.
Drama sells, right?
You get more people watching you. You get more followers on Instagram. You get more quote unquote fame. So, some people want to do that. For me, and I quote unquote had the fame. I don't long for it. I don't want it. Yes. And if I do want it, I want it for the right reasons.
Did you get paid for it?
Yeah.
Do they pay?
They paid, but what I got paid to do 2 series I could make in a weekend.
So it's not pay. You don't pay on performance. Like that, 1 million people are watching, so we pay you more. It's not like that. It's like the movies.
It probably should be,
but
in this instance, it wasn't.
And you're dealing with Netflix direct, or do
you deal with a production company,
and then they sell this to Netflix?
Correct. That's how it usually works. Or Netflix will buy a show off the production company. Netflix still have a say in what they. I mean, the Netflix will say yes and no.
You mentioned adolescence. I watched all 4 in one night.
I'm yet to watch it at this point.
Why do you mention it? Because the camera work, I noticed there's one episode where it's the psychiatrist and a 13-year-old boy. For 1 hour, they act nonstop. I've never seen such incredible acting in my life.
Social media plays such a big role. It's come up on my social media so much. That's why I want to watch it, because it keeps popping up and I'm like, what is this? What is this? People are talking about it. So that's one of the reasons why I want to get on it. And I'm not
going to tell you the ending.
Don't tell me anything.
No, it's only 4 episodes.
I know, but
where's the 5th and the 6th? That's only 4.
I don't know too much about
season 1 and 4 episodes.
I just heard that it's brilliant, and I want to make. And
the way they put it together is brilliant. It's actually produced by Brad Pitt.
Is it?
Yes. He's one of the producers.
Interesting.
Incredible.
Good.
Kris, I know you got an appointment. I love you so much. I can't tell you from my heart. I mean this. You inspire me. You did it when I had nothing. You're inspiring me now. And hopefully you're going to be in my life for a very long time. So
inshallah, we will be together for a very long time. I love you too, mate. Thank you for everything. Our friendship has grown in the last sort of 18 months. It's only going to get stronger. And thank you for having me.
I honor you, man.
Love you, bro.
And your family.
Love you, mate.
And this is to me hugging Kris sooner.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen.
Done. Brother.